Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, you're going to meet a true disruptor in the world of telecom. His incredible story just ahead.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, I remember when I was a news reporter in the 90s and 2000s, I would make frequent trips to Richardson because that was kind of the home of all telecom. But as these giants of telecom are developing new technologies, they need somebody to help them create new infrastructures because of every year it seems like we're growing by leaps and bounds when it comes to the amount of data that's being sent through the phone and those towers. So to talk about that today, Trevor Francis, he is the CEO of 46 Labs. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I want to start at the very beginning because you confessed to me before the show that you've always had this kind of engineer brain. And you got a toaster one time and you were gravely disappointed as a child in the toaster. Tell us why.
Well, this is talked about a lot in my family. Everyone tends to make fun of me about it, but my parents, I had great parents, and they wanted to spoil me that Christmas and buy me basically everything that I wanted, except for a broken toaster. I apparently didn't communicate that well, and had torn open all my presents and had a really kind of disappointed look on my face, and they were like, "What happened?" And I'm like, "Well, I just wanted a toaster to fix." So
that's wild.
Yeah.
So then in high school, I mean, did you excel in all of the kind of math and sciences, or is that like a gift that you have?
You know, I've always been in technology. I've always found it super fascinating. I remember growing up in Fort Worth, I used to, especially in high school, I would go and play sports and have 2-a-days, so in the mornings and the evenings, and then after sports, I would immediately shower up and go and work for a telecom company. I drove 30 miles each direction. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, because Tuesdays and Thursdays I had games. So yeah.
Well, I think as a token of my appreciation for you coming on the show, I'm going to get you a broken toaster.
Well, I love it. I'll see if I can fix it for you.
All right, we're going to pull up your website because 46 Labs is an incredible company. How do you describe it to somebody that you're meeting for the first time?
So we are the digital infrastructure that powers the public switch telephone network. So you talked about going up to Richardson and really kind of interviewing the telecom companies. There's a big transformation happening between the physical infrastructure and actually converting it into kind of software and digital infrastructure now. Turning hardware into software.
And so these big companies will come to you to help them as they're continuing to evolve?
Yeah, it's we've kind of 2 customer cohorts. We have large enterprises, so the brands that you know and recognize, sure. And then we have large phone carriers who are trying to figure out how to be more efficient with their infrastructure.
Do you have a lot of competition?
Not really. It's a pretty captive space, and it's a very it's hard to develop trust because it's people rely on this every single day. You pick up your phone, you dial it, and you expect it to ring, right? And if it doesn't ring, it makes you incredibly frustrated.
Right.
Right.
And although we're building out technology as fast as we can, I think there are still pockets around where either the self-service is bad, or now the hottest thing on the planet is data centers. Mm-hmm. So how do you work with data centers?
Well, everything starts at a data center. So it used to be everything started at a switch room in a telecom company. Right now, everything's moving away into all IP-based communications to data centers, and then everything builds on top of that, servers and then software. And
Yes. We're going to show some video from our library of cell towers and cell phones so you can speak a little bit about how vast this universe is. You know, I made the comment that it's changing every day or every year. Suddenly they need to, you know, invest more in these towers. Is that an exaggeration? Does it change every day?
It changes every minute. So, you know, carriers are working really hard to build out additional access, right, using cell towers, but all those cell towers have to be connected somewhere, right? It ends up back on wires, and those wires end up taking it to other data centers and different providers. And our focus is trying to figure out how to best handle those wires and how efficient they connect.
You were telling me a great story about how you came up with 46 labs.
Yeah, so ultimately 46 labs, if you look at a dial pad, there's a 4 and a 6, and our goal was to use the 5 in the middle, which was the internet, to figure out how to connect those two together. So 13 years later, I think we've succeeded.
Wow. We're going to show some video from your new offices in the West End, and we were talking before the show. I love the West End, and it has kind of fallen from grace, if you will, over the last couple decades. Is your hope to rejuvenate the West End?
Absolutely. I think, you know, we saw in the last 20 years, you saw people kind of go back into cities, and now you're seeing people with the pandemic go out of cities. But the West End is a gem. It's, you know, it's old Dallas. It's just, it has a really special spot in my heart growing up here in Dallas. And it just has a lot of things that you can't find anywhere else, especially in new buildings. You have old, you know, renovated buildings that are beautiful and really special.
And your company is growing by leaps and bounds, but one of the things you were telling me before the show is that you're so passionate about workplace culture that some of your original employees are still with you?
Yeah, we have hire number 1 and number 2 13 years ago. For a tech firm, that is very, very unusual.
That's incredible. All right, talk about the next few years. What do you see happening for your company in the next few years?
Well, our goal is to continue trying to figure out how to make carriers more efficient, make enterprises more efficient. We have hopefully a wireless future in our, wireless in our future to try and figure out how to take what we've learned on the wireline side of things and take it all the way to the handset.
And is this a global company? Do you have clients overseas?
We have clients everywhere. We have domestic clients that have international operations. We have international clients that have domestic operations, and we have staff all over the world.
Wow. And I'm imagining even in some third world countries, they're starting to get some of this technology, or at least they have technology that's outdated.
Well, I started my career in the middle of jungles in Honduras and in West Africa. Wow. So there's a huge problem to solve internationally, and it's something we're focused on.
Does that feel good to help the citizens of a country like that have that ability to communicate around the world?
Well, I think it's twofold. I think it's getting them access to having more cost-effective communications, because third world countries surprisingly have the most expensive telecom infrastructure. But it's also giving them access to the folks that have left those countries and allowing them to connect back with family members.
Outstanding. Well, Trevor, we got about a minute left, so look into the camera on the left and talk to the viewer about your final thoughts.
Well, I love Dallas. I love the West End. I think that Texas is a great place to grow a business, and the West End is a great place to put kind of next generation technologies in old Dallas. Outstanding.
Trevor, thanks for coming on the show. We're going to end with his website, which is 46labs.com, the great Trevor Francis. Thanks for coming on the show. That's it for now. We'll see you next time.